Arsenal 2, Wolves 1, or as Lee would say, Arsenal dos, Wolves uno. Kenny Ken, it was a
You
slow
know what? You know
moving
what?
game.
You know what? You know what's happened, right? Wolves have only got themselves to blame. Wolves were in total control in the first half. They didn't get that second goal when Jimenez went through. And then after that, second half, they just kept on trying to, run the clock down. They tried to hold on to what they had. And that was just bad, big mistake, because all it did was push them back onto their goalkeeper. And then when we brought Pepe on, that's when we looked like opening them up, because before then we just didn't like opening them up. Martinelli struggled for me. Saka did his best, but like crowding him out. Lacazette was having a nightmare, an absolute nightmare. And it was only when he only looked like alive. How you doing, bro? You know what I mean? He only looked alive when we brought on Pepe, and then in Nketiah as well. So what's happening is that we kind of stretched the Wolves' defence, and we started winning the midfield battle. First off, we didn't win the midfield battle, and I think that's when Wolves were in total control. But I think when they went 1-0 up, I think we had a bit of a chance, because they don't score enough goals. They're like us; they don't really score that much. So for Wolves to have prevailed in this game, they definitely needed a second goal, and then we came back into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I would agree with you on that one. It was a slow-moving first half, wasn't it, Kenny? We didn't really start very well. We started on the back foot, give a goal away, and then, from there, it didn't look like we was going to score in that game. I've got to be honest. I thought, when we got the goal back from Pepe, like you said, he came on, he changed the game, and I think, I was kind of hoping to get out of there with a draw, but Lacazette comes up with the goods in the end. I'm hearing it was an own goal, actually. A bit of a deflection off the defender.
From a good friend of mine was at the ground, and we saw it. It looked like the keeper got wrong-footed, because he took a deflection of one of their players. I don't know whether that was Connor Cody or not, but what's happening is that if anyone needed like a goal, it was him, because as I said before, he was struggled and really, really struggled. He tried everything, he found it difficult to hold the ball up. He was cannon for the Wolves' defence, and the crowd were really getting on his back. So for him to sort of keep on at it, and I think he's our manager, not taking him off and keeping him on the field, and actually telling him to stay up front, and getting Eddie and Pepe to help him. It shows a bit of endeavour, but there's always a but with Lacazette. At the moment, we're grinding out results. We're grinding out a result against Wolves 2 weeks ago. I consider the win against Brentford grinding out results, but we can't keep on getting lucky like this. People will say, why are you saying we're lucky? You make your own luck. Yes, you're right. 100% you do make your own luck, but we can't play like this. Expect to get away with this. You know what I mean? Eventually, we're going to come a cropper. Eventually, we're going to get punished for, not, breaking that teams down. We're going to get punished for, our goalkeepers trying to play off the back. Gabriel trying to play the referee all the time. I bet if this is Liverpool today, we'll get battered. You know that. Man United, you don't know what Man United will turn up. But, Chelsea, and that's the thing. If we're going to get in the top four, we can't have performances like this. We can't always ride our luck. We can't always rely on our sort of athleticism, and the pace of our players and the counter-attack that gets out of trouble. We've got to, string some good performances as well. Because I think if we play well, we won't lose any games. We won't drop points. Because at the moment, it has to be, we haven't played really, really well. But, grinding out results does help. But we won't win getting the top four by grinding out results.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. So that brings me to my next question then, Kenny. What do you think went wrong in that first half? Why do you think we started the game so slowly?
Well, I think we always start the game, when we start games like from kickoff, we start a very, very fast, energetic pace. And then what happens is that the opposition's kind of, weathers that storm. And then what will happen is that they work us out. We start playing slower and slower, playing into their hands, and they're very comfortable. And I think what Wolves did really well was that they won the midfield battle. I thought, Martinho was brilliant today for them. I thought Neves, he allowed Neves to push up. And, Podence, first half, I thought he was fantastic for them. And they always look a threat on the break. I thought Tierney had a bit of a struggle in the first half. Cedric definitely struggled in their goal. It's been coming. Risk and reward. And I'll say to the guy next to me, if Wolves maintain that pace, they'll win the game. I didn't think they were going to maintain that pace. It was only when they started. I don't know whether it's fatigue or whether they thought the game was won. They played completely in their hands because if they played the same sort of tempo like they did in the first half, I think we'd have struggled. I think we just read the game well. We read the game that Wolves just come for a point and they encouraged us. But I'll tell you one thing: if Pepe didn't come on, me and you'd be having a difficult conversation.
Yeah, I agree with you again, mate. Top four. Speaking of top four, because that is obviously the ambition now that we're out of everything in terms of Europe and stuff like that. Can we get top four, Kenny? Manchester United have been very inconsistent.
Well,
Tottenham lost again yesterday.
Well, the thing about it is that Man United had a great result on Sunday, and I think they got Watford as well fighting relegation. I think what it is that as much as everyone's Ronaldo, I think Elanga's like I said, he's stealing headlines and he's quite very effective. Martin Rashford's got no confidence, but I think in terms of top four, a friend of mine's mentioned, and I agree with him. The game on the 23rd of April is going to be very key. That is a 6-pointer because with Tottenham being inconsistent, even if they give us a hiding at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, they'll drop points elsewhere. But I think with Man United, they're the type of team that if they go on a run, they're going to be very, very difficult to beat. It's always this time of the year, second part after the season, where they're strong. 2 years ago during lockdown, they were very, very strong, and they nicked third place of Chelsea and Leicester. And then last season, they didn't lose an away game where again, that keeps them good state. And I think if you're putting your money on anyone, it's Man United if they get it right. But what Arsenal need to do is can't play like this all the time. We've got to put the ball in the net, and we've got to win well, and make sure that key players don't get injured.
Yeah, definitely, 100% agree with you. On Arteta, just real quickly on Arteta, what is your overriding thoughts on Arteta? Because obviously, I know you've been a major. You come on obviously Lee's channel on a regular, but what's your thoughts on Arteta? Because I want to know what you think. We're in this position.
Well, it's a good question because in terms of long term, he's very lucky to be in the job because if you look at where we were last season, especially that period between November and December, that is sackable. But for some reason, the football club, the fans are bought into Arteta. They think he's going to do something special. But the best Arteta's ever going to do at his football club, with the sort of resources he has, is maybe the odd fight in the top four and get us in Europe. But a big club like us need better than that, And I think long term, Arteta's not the answer. He certainly isn't the answer. It's his first job in football, but there's a lot of things he does. I'm still, have concerns with. One of the things I'm not too happy about is use of Pepe. Wasn't too happy with that. He falls out of certain players, but the players he tends to fall out with are players who are more effective than the personnel we've got already. The things that he's doing really well, obviously, he's trying to build a side around Smith Rowe. He's trying to build something, but let's face it, the style of play under this guy still isn't clear enough. That performance, right, isn't sustainable. Now, when Unai Emery was in charge, we were criticising those kind of performances even when we're winning games. Well, there's no difference in how we play against Brentford and how we won against Wolves and how we won today. It's kind of lopsided, but with a bit of luck. And I think at the moment it's still a bit of luck. People who are Arteta fans are going to say different to say, yeah, great coaching by the guy and blah, blah, he's getting results. And yes, but eventually it's going to go wrong. It's really going to go wrong. And this is the wrong time for it to go wrong. So games against Chelsea, games against Liverpool at home, games against Man United, and obviously it's the North London derby. That's where he's going to earn his money. If he doesn't prevail in those games, then we won't get top four, and then he'll be judged. But let's face it, eighth And even if we do get top 4, it isn't a good return over the 3 years because, the standards haven't been great. He's obviously this where we finish, like maybe in Europe, it's going to be improvement. But let's face it, we've had no European football. We've only played one game a week. So if he balls this up, it's not going to look good in him, is it?
No, definitely not. I appreciate you coming on, Kenny. It's
No
nice to
problem.
meet you,
Enjoy
bro.
yourself.
I'll see you later on for player ratings.
Definitely, mate.
And,
I better have it on my toes and get on that tube then and make sure I'm on time. All right.
yeah, definitely.
All right. See you later, Brandon. Thanks for having me
Cheers,
on.
Kenny.
Thank you. Bye.